I'm Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about anxious about dating again. Well, many of you are at a place where you've considered dating again. Maybe you're not ready yet, maybe you're just thinking about it, but depending upon how things go with your situation and with your ex, obviously many of you will have to date again or move on at some point, because some of you won't get another opportunity with your ex. Some of you will just be in situations where you're not happy with the way things are going, or things are not turning around in a way that, is making you feel fulfilled. Whatever. There's so many different reasons that you may feel like you have to date somebody else and get to that place. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of pressure on you by friends and family. They're going to always say, oh, start dating, go out on dates, and you may not be ready yet. You got to get to a place where you've healed, you've worked through your attachment issues, you understand what went wrong, you've kind of grieved the breakup and done a lot of work on yourself, especially if you're in a long-term relationship that didn't work out. You want to grow in this time. This is the opportunity to really change your life. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of bad advice out there. It's all over the place. It's on YouTube, it's on the internet. Tons of people start, relationship channels when they have no education, no understanding of relationships, the dynamics of it. They just say whatever nonsense they've heard on other people's channels that also don't have any experience or education or understanding of mental health. And then you wind up getting hurt again because you don't really understand the fundamentals of relationships and attachment and why relationships do or don't work. But honestly, I feel for you guys with a lot of the advice out there, because so many of these people, they just put out whatever comes to mind and they don't think about the repercussions that you're going to face. Okay, they sit there with their backwards baseball hat. I don't know why. They're either wearing a backwards baseball hat or sunglasses, or they're screaming about how terrible women are. But please think about where you're getting this information from, because quite honestly, I don't know how anybody takes those things seriously. I mean, they don't even try and look presentable and talk about things in a way that might be enlightening for you or empathetic for you. They just tell you to do something without really thinking about how it's going to go. Okay? And we always consider all these things because we know what it's like to put yourself out there and get your heart broken, right? Anytime you're interested in love or trying to fall in love with somebody or find somebody new, you're risking heartbreak. Okay? So, I got an email today from somebody that I actually did an email coaching with, over a year ago, okay? And, well, she mentions briefly what happened in the other email situation, but she's dating somebody new or starting to. She's really anxious about it, and I'm sure many of you could relate to that, so we're going to talk about this today. They said, "Hello, Coach Craig. Thanks for the previous advice. It has been very helpful. Also, I'm sorry for Margaret. She was very inspiring to me." And she was very inspiring to me and to Victoria and to many of you, and I hear it on the calls every day. So thank you for the kind words. She said, "That being said, I wanted to discuss with you my new situation. It has been more than a year since my breakup with my ex. During that time, I tried to reflect on it and work on my attachment style. Considering my behavior during the last part of the relationship, it looks to me that I am the anxious type. That took me for surprise, since I always thought I was more the avoidant type, since I do not fall in love easily. No contact has helped me a lot. I did not receive any news of my ex, and at this point, I have already decided to let him go. And I had mentioned that I don't blame you because he didn't treat her very nicely towards the end. And I actually went and reread our old email coaching before I did this one, which I often do when you guys do multiple email coachings, so I have context. In March of this year, I started dating somebody new. He was my friend and classmate at university. I've known him since 2019, so in fact, he's not that new to me. By the end of 2022, we started to become very close, and in March of this year, we decided to start a relationship. It's kind of scary and anxiety-provoking, right? Like a lot of you guys are like, oh, nope, not ready. It's totally understandable. You're attached to somebody. You're not quite ready to think about these things. Like I said, you do it at your speed. At the beginning, I was excited to start dating again, since it had passed a lot of time after my breakup and I was feeling much better. Now we have been dating a month, but somehow I started to feel anxious about the situation. Only a month in. What do you think's going on? Let's see. My partner is very nice. I can see that he cares about me a lot and that he's trying to make this relationship work. From my part, there are times when I really enjoy his company, but then there are moments when I feel anxious. There are thoughts coming to me like, would I be able to love this person as much as I loved my ex? Okay. And a lot of people start to think about these things when they start dating again. And that's understandable. I think you have to consider that this is a new person that you're just starting to develop feelings for. And it's not fair to this new person to consider your feelings for your ex, somebody that you've probably been with for years, maybe talked about marriage or kids and all those things together. This is somebody new. So if you start to think about marrying somebody new, it's going to freak you out. Think about it. If you were engaged to your last ex and you were living together and you talked about having kids and you were with them for years, and now you're dating somebody for a month, in this case, only a month, and she's starting to think about, well, I love this guy as much as the guy that I wanted to marry and I lived with and have kids with. Of course the answer is going to be no. You don't know this person yet. And so trying to think about if there's that much potential for a brand new situation, it's going to keep you from being present with him and having a good time with the guy who's at this point showing you that he cares about you. So try not to compare a new situation with somebody that you had a very serious, deep, meaningful connection with. It's a bond, okay? And you're just starting to scratch the surface of getting to know somebody. I know you were friends, and that helps, but when you're considering the transition to a romantic relationship, there's a big difference. The truth is, I'm not completely sure about my capacity to fall in love with him. I know that I care about him, but I'm not sure my feelings are quote-unquote love. Well, it's only been a month. It shouldn't be love. Now, maybe you should love him as a friend, love him as a person that you have known for a couple of years, but to compare that kind of love with somebody you've been dating a month, it's going to overwhelm anybody. You can't do that same kind of comparison because it's not going to lead to results that are fulfilling to creating something new. I wonder if it might be related to the fact that I still think about my ex, or if I'm trying to convince myself that I am in love with someone when in reality I'm not. Well, you shouldn't be trying to convince yourself that you love anybody. Nobody should ever be doing that. If you're doing that this soon, it makes me wonder if he's talking about I love you and feelings that strong. And if he is, that would be a big reason that you're feeling this way. He's overwhelming you and he's scaring you because that's feeling like a lot of pressure. And I hope that he's not doing that. But maybe he does love you as a person because you have been friends for years. But if he's talking about love in a romantic way, of course it's going to freak you out. It's natural to think about an ex. You're always going to think about people you loved and cared about, right? It's just going to happen. It doesn't mean that you don't care about this new person. It just means that you got to stop thinking about it the same way, right? You're moving forward. You're trying to get to know somebody new. And a month in, you should not be thinking about love. It's overwhelming and scary. Maybe the fact that we started as friends plays a role too. Or maybe I just need to let more time pass since the relationship is still new. Yes. Have fun with this guy. See what he's like. Is he fun? Do you really connect? Can you bond over time? That connection is going to take time to establish. You shouldn't be talking about love a month in. If a girl I dated for a month told me she loved me, I would be running in the other direction. I told you about the one who told me she loved me 4 times on the second date, right? So, that freaked me out. I realized she didn't have any boundaries. She had some issues going on there. And, a month in, it's also going to make me feel that way. I need to see that you're getting to know me over time. I'm very worried because I do not want to sabotage a relationship with someone who's very special to me. I still have some issues concerning my ex, but at the same time, I worry that if I let time pass, I will end up realizing that I could not fall in love with him and will hurt him. Again, I think you're overthinking this. It sounds like you're really anxious, you're really overanalyzing the situation, and you're not just being present with him, which is where I think you need to be. Just having a good time, having fun. Here we go. He already tells me that he loves me. That's the problem. That's where a lot of this is coming from. His interest level is way too high. He's probably got an anxious attachment style or more anxious than her, and he's smothering her, he's scaring her, and overwhelming her. I mean, this is a big mistake. You can't be telling people that you love them a month in. Please don't do it, guys. It's going to blow up in most people's faces when you do that kind of thing. And right now you might be thinking, well, my ex and I told us we loved each other a month in. Well, where are you at now? You're in a breakup. See? Just don't do it. Take your time. Take your time. The longer you wait to say it, the more likely it's going to be coming from a place of I'm really getting to know you, I'm really enjoying where this is going, and a healthy place. This doesn't feel healthy. No wonder why she's freaking out. He already tells me that he loves me, but I feel confused. Of course you feel confused. Of course. He's scaring you. Yeah. So that's a big issue here. I once heard a phrase that sounds often in my head. If you doubt that you love him, it's because you don't. I don't believe in that. I mean, if you're always going to have doubts that you love somebody, right? After you had a big fight with somebody and they did something that really, made you so mad that you thought you couldn't take it anymore. You're going to be like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know if I love this person. Those things are going to happen, okay? But as you cool off and calm down, you're likely going to realize, okay, I was just upset at the time. But yeah, there were going to be doubts. Sometimes maybe you'll find somebody else that you're attracted to and have a connection with, and it makes you question, well, I have feelings for somebody else. Maybe I'm not really meant to be with this person. And, I don't really have a black and white thinking when looking at these things. So I think it's normal to sometimes be attracted to other people, even if you're in a relationship. You may disagree with that, but I don't think things are black and white. I think we have feelings that are fluid and thoughts that come and go, but I think overall we choose to love somebody and, accept them and, the struggles that they have and the issues that the relationship has, and you love them, so you're going to work through it. But that doesn't mean that it's always going to be perfect or black and white. Do you think that maybe with time I can develop feelings, or that will just waste his time and end up hurting him? Well, if he doesn't stop smothering you and coming on too strong, your feelings aren't going to slowly develop. It's like he's squashing it. He's just crushing it. He's squishing it. He's stepping on it. I just imagine like a little flower trying to poke through the dirt and, start to bloom, and someone just comes along and steps on it. Because that's what I think what happens, If you kind of think of like somebody, like imagine a woman falling in love as like a flower slowly growing and starting to bloom and blossom, right? Well, you can't make that flower bloom and blossom at your speed. You can nurture it, water it, take care of it, tend to it, make sure it has nutrients, the right sand or whatever, the dirt and all those things. But it's got to slowly happen. And it's like he's staring at you like, come on, little flower, grow, hurry up. And you're just like, okay, no. So, yeah, I think if he can relax and just show you who he is, this caring guy, and treats you well, and I would tell him, look, I do love you as a friend, I do love you as a person, but the romantic aspect of this has to take time. Let this blossom with me slowly, and let's just focus on having fun. Let's not talk about love or commitment. Let's just keep going out, having a good time, and seeing if we have a good connection and we're a good fit. I think if that happens, you could wind up with him, because it does sound like, at least right now, that he's really caring and attentive and is treating you well, and he's really trying to nurture the relationship. The problem is he's pressuring. And anytime you have a guy pressuring, it always makes women turned off, and it always makes them doubt their feelings for you. This is why I tell guys, you got to do the work, guys. You got to come from a confident place where you're taking women out, having a great time, laughing, showing them that you care, letting them bond with you at their speed, and they will. But pressuring women is the fastest way to chase them off and hurt their attraction for you. So unfortunately, this guy doesn't know that. And he's maybe being too nice, too nurturing, too smothering, and it's causing you to doubt your feelings for him. Whereas I think if you could just relax, not try and talk about love or commitment or serious things like marriage or anything like that, you'll slowly feel that bond and attraction to him. But behavior is absolutely critical to attracting somebody. And this is why I tell you guys, you have to do the work. Because when you really do the work that I teach, the stuff that's in the Creative Healing course and the knowledge workbooks, those things keep you centered. So you naturally don't want to do these things because you realize you're doing it out of your own anxiety, not because you're not necessarily feeling that way in that moment. You're scared. And so when you're scared, you try and lock people down, and that just kills attraction. So I think there's some potential here if he changes his behavior, and also if you can go with the flow more. And for all of you guys that are dating or starting to date again, always take your time. You want to wait a solid year before you really give somebody your heart and trust them. If you don't believe me, you can do it your way, but when you wind up with another broken heart and you're back on the channel, you're going to remember that I warned you. I tell you guys that for a reason. I see this all the time. I've been doing this for many years. The longer you take to get to know somebody, their pros, their cons, their struggles, where they're good at in life, where they're struggling at life, and you can accept them, the more likely you're going to have a healthy relationship. There's some kind of study that I can't remember quite that I came across years ago that I said something like, the longer it is that you're together before you get engaged, the more likely the marriage is going to last. I can't remember the number of the years. I feel like it was either 2 or 5. But why rush it? If you're thinking about a lifetime commitment, There's no reason to rush. Take your time. Some of you are like, my biological clock. Yes, I know that is a realistic issue that people have to deal with. But also consider doing your best to take your time, whatever your particular situation, because each situation is so different. And that's why we do coaching. And if you want to get my help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. You can get my workbooks there. You can get my creative healing course there. They will truly transform your life and help you get to a truly confident place where you don't make this mistake when your ex comes back or if you start dating other people. So hopefully this one's been helpful to you. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.